Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fitness to Influence. So, a couple years ago, I held my first masterclass on how to feel like a babe again. This was wildly successful for me. Clients not only were sick of hearing about losing weight, but they were like, no, I don't necessarily care about losing weight. Would I mind losing weight? No. But more importantly, I want to feel good. I also want to look good, but I want to feel good. I want to feel like a babe and I want to look like one too. So today I want to revisit that master class and we're going to add on to it for the holidays. We are going to talk about how to stress less and thrive more. This is my holiday playbook for staying on track and feeling like a babe. All right, so why is it so hard to stay on track during the holidays? So a lot of us weren't doing a whole lot in October. Maybe you were. My life was basically dictated by my kids' sports. I didn't have much of a social life. But now that is changing. We have preschool fundraisers, we have other fundraisers, and now the holiday parties are starting. Everybody wants a holiday party. And it's not even about just the holiday party. A lot of times it's that day leading up to, and then when you get home at night, maybe you've had a little bit too much to drink, and then it's the following day where you're not feeling your best because you had a few drinks. Over the past couple of years, the rise in being sober curious and just people are drinking a lot less. So that is actually one huge shift I saw at the Faster Way conference this past year. Nick was even reflecting on the big shift within his company culture and their holiday party. People are just drinking a lot less. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the best food options and choices are available at these parties. A lot of times we don't have a lot of time. People are traveling a lot. They don't have access to gyms. They don't have access to making food themselves. And so during the holidays, it just gets very overwhelming. On top of that, many of us have kids. We are baking cookies. We are going to bake sales. We are going to cookie exchanges. A lot of social things revolve around food and drinks. Luckily, we've not solved the drink issue, but we have some tips and tricks. People are more okay with drinking less. Mocktails are more popular, but there's also this mindset of waiting until January that can wreak havoc on people's progress. So a lot of my clients, they will start in September or October, and then all of a sudden the holiday parties start. Or maybe they didn't even start. Maybe they started in the spring and then come the holiday parties and they're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to wait until January to hop back on the bandwagon. A lot of people have this all or nothing mentality. I say to my clients, I'm like, you are not unique. A lot of people are like this. So if you have a tendency in the past to have this all or nothing attitude, or maybe you're not where you want to be. A lot of my clients, they're the same age as I am. They're in the same season of life. They're done having kids. They thought they were going to be smooth sailing. And now in their 40s, they are sleeping terrible. They're starting to notice that they're gaining weight despite not really doing anything different. Or maybe they just never had the time to get back to feeling confident before they had kids. Or maybe they're now just starting to prioritize themselves. It doesn't matter where you are. A lot of people right now, November, December, they do not prioritize themselves or their health. And they have this all or nothing attitude. And they're like, you know what? I'm just going to think about it in January. I don't care right now. This is the last thing you should be doing. Okay. Today, let's talk about some tips, some strategies, the Holiday Babe Playbook. These are going to be my top 4. We're going to talk about 4. Actually, there's 5. Top 5 strategies to feeling good. Okay. And this way, you're going to be able to go into the new year way ahead of everybody else that is just starting up at January 1st. But more importantly, like this time of year, you want to have energy. You want to feel good. You don't want to feel gross getting dressed, going to holiday parties. You want to be a role model for your children with your relationship with food. After Halloween, my kids are on a sugar high and processed food, just like constantly around, and their behavior stinks. And as an adult, when my nutrition is not on point, I also don't feel great. I also have more anxiety. I'm tired at 4 o'clock. I'm like, what am I going to eat at 4 o'clock? Do I have cookies? Like that just makes you feel worse. But sometimes that's, what you do because you don't have a plan. You're not thinking about it. So here are the strategies. Okay. We're going to go through 5 of them. Strategy number 1, we're going to prioritize protein and balanced meals. I know you're like, this is boring. I know, but let's talk specifics. How much protein am I talking about? Okay. Most of us should be having between zero point 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Now, I am 140 pounds. I am happy at 140 pounds. Sometimes I'm 137. Sometimes I'm 142. But on average, I'm about 140 pounds. I aim to eat about 120 grams of protein every single day. Now, how I do that, I make sure that every single meal has 20 to 40 grams of protein. And whatever I am, lacking, like maybe 3 meals have 40 grams of protein, I've hit it. But if I only have 2 meals that hit 40 and one is at 20, I will make up the difference with a snack. Now, when we talk about holiday parties, what are some protein options you can choose or you can bring? Everybody's always like, what can I bring? What can I bring? Bring the healthy food. Don't bring the weird gluten-free thing that nobody's going to have. I mean, you can. A lot of people do eat gluten-free, but you know what I mean? I used to make like a gluten-free, stevia sweetened, like crustless pumpkin pie back in like my 20s. Nobody wanted that. I would eat that by myself and it was gross. Anyway, eat a little bit of the real thing. But when it comes to bringing something, some of the appetizers, I love shrimp cocktail. Everybody loves, I shouldn't say everybody, people that are not allergic to shrimp love shrimp cocktail. So 8 to 10 medium shrimp is going to be 20 grams of protein. 6 to 8 larger shrimp would be 30 grams. So if you go into this holiday party and you start with something like that, you are setting yourself up for success. Here's why. Protein is going to better balance your blood sugar. So you're not going to get those sugar cravings. You're not going to get that energy crash. You're also going to feel full longer. So you're going to be less likely to overeat. So I always recommend starting with an appetizer that is higher in protein. Other options, little meatballs, sausages. You could also eat something proteiny, that's a new word for me, at home before you go. You could have some dried edamame. You could have half of a protein bar. Make your life easier and bring something to help. And if you can't, just choose your options wisely. Most people will have some type of a protein appetizer. Or go to the charcuterie board, protein, cheese, protein in your prosciutto. Go that way. Strategy number 2, set an intentional movement goal. So for me, I just stick with my faster way workouts. I never miss them. This is one of the easiest things for me to do. On occasion, I will feel unmotivated and I will put on my clothes, put on a favorite playlist, and put on the workout and just start moving. Now, if you are a client of mine, then this is easier to do because you don't have to scroll to find the perfect workout. You're like, I'm just opening my app and clicking play. I find the times that I'm the least motivated are when I've strayed off of my schedule and I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do today? I should have followed my schedule. I'm a little off. But for other people who may not be in my program, or maybe you are, and you just don't have the time, you're traveling, whatever, figure out the minimum effective dose. I'm going to call that MED for the point of this podcast. This is the smallest amount of exercise needed to get a desired fitness result without overdoing it. The idea is to maintain or make progress without adding stress or taking up tons of time. This is perfect for busy or low energy days during the holidays. So you want to establish the minimum effective dose, the MED workout, or setting a daily step goal. So an example of this would be if your goal is to maintain your strength, which honestly should be for everybody. Everybody's goal should be maintaining their strength. This could be 15 to 20-minute circuit with a few key compound exercises. Think squats, push-ups, rows. If your goal is cardiovascular health, a brisk 20-minute walk, a short interval workout may do the trick. For me, I'm going to be doing 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Those other 2 days, I try to hit my step goal. I do the best I can. I try to do a little bit of yoga. But overall, I try to do 30 minutes, 2 days a week of HIIT and 3 days of strength. Now, the reason why I want you to get rid of the all or nothing mentality is because when you have an all or nothing mentality, If you can't fit in that 30, 45-minute workout, or maybe you go to studios, you don't do anything at all. That's why this minimum effective dose is such a great mindset shift. So if you just realize that I just have to do the minimal amount of exercise to maintain my muscle mass, I can do that. I can do 15 to 20 minutes. Back when Elle was younger, I sometimes would do 10 to 15 minutes of a workout. I'd go pick up her brother at preschool, and then I would do the rest when I got home if I didn't have that one window. I have clients who are traveling a lot right now, and they're like, can I move around my schedule? I know I'll be able to have an awesome gym on Mondays. And, can I shift it to this? And I'm like, this is awesome. You have a schedule. When you have a schedule, you're much less likely to skip your workouts. If you are waking up every day and whatever you're in the mood for is dictating what you do, that's when you are going to set yourself up for failure for sticking with a routine. Come up with a routine, have consistency. On this day, I'm always going to be doing a cardio workout. This is what's worked for me the past 5 years. I do like a HIIT workout on Mondays. On Tuesdays, I will do either sprints, I will run outside, I will do something like a Tabata. Wednesday, I do full body strength. Thursday, I do upper body strength, different upper body muscles that I didn't work the previous day. And then Saturday, I do leg day. Friday and Sunday are kind of active recovery. If you don't have time to exercise, set a minimum step goal. That, if you're not going to be working out, I recommend 8 to 10,000 steps. That does sound like a lot. If you don't have a walking treadmill, go ahead and grab one. You can do your work on that. If you are a mom and you are busy, you likely are getting some of these steps already. Maybe you're not tracking it. If you don't have a tracker, I'm assuming most people know that you can see that number in their iPhone. I love that feature. Nick's is wild because he walks to the train and then he walks to work from the train. And mine is like 5,000 if I don't get on my walking treadmill. So as a mom who works from home, that is a huge challenge for me. So the goal is to avoid an all or nothing mindset. If I can't get in a 60-minute workout, if I can't get to the gym, if I can't do 45 minutes of my workout, I'm not going to do anything. Get rid of that. Do something. If you can't go to the gym, get in those steps. Go for a walk. Get on your walking treadmill. If you can't fit in a full strength workout, do that 15-minute workout. If you are a Peloton fan, Jess Sims does these 15-minute flash 15s. It's a 15-minute workout. I have ones on YouTube. I have ones on Instagram. You guys know where you can get these. But get rid of the all or nothing mindset. Stay consistent. A body in motion stays in motion. You do not need to put in these 60-minute workouts to see some results. I really encourage my clients, your goal during the holidays shouldn't necessarily be losing weight. I do have clients who are trying to lose weight. It's more bank your muscle and maintain it, because that is going to keep your metabolism higher. It is going to keep it speedy. It's going to help you feel good. You're going to feel energized. And when it comes time that you're actually ready to rein in the diet and not overindulge at the parties, you're just going to be that much quicker to be receptive to the nutrition component. Let's go to strategy number 3. We are going to use the worth it rule for holiday treats. This is one of my favorite rules that I have been implementing for a long time. So here is the worth it rule if you're not familiar with it. Be intentional with your indulgences. Things that are worth it, in my opinion, are things that you can only have in the here and now. For example, your grandmother's homemade apple pie, pretend whatever your grandmother makes, something that you can't have any other day of the year. You can't walk down or drive to the grocery store and buy this. The worth it rule for me is, I also call it the here and now. So the worth it rule is also known as the here and now rule. And basically, when I go to holiday parties, if I could eat this same food, in a week, I'm not going to have it. I will pass. For example, somebody was on charge of desserts and they brought Roach Brothers cookies. I'm going to pass on that. You know what I'm not going to pass on? Susie Homemaker, who makes the best darn homemade cookies and brought a fresh batch for Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever the party is. That to me is worth it. When it comes to different types of dips, we make this awesome taco dip. I never make it. I make it for the holidays. It is so good. That to me is worth it versus a random store-bought dip. If somebody brought like a random like Helva, those actually might not even be that nutritionally unhealthy, but just for example, that is the worth it in the here and now rule. If you could go to the store and buy this tomorrow, to me, that's not worth it. It's not part of the here and now rule. If this is something that was homemade, that somebody put love and effort into it and you love it, then enjoy it. And my dad buys me C's candies for the holidays. And yes, I could go to the store and buy those next week, but he only sends them to me on, Christmas and, maybe sometimes Valentine's Day or my birthday, but they're not all the time. So it's kind of a worth it rule. Those are worth it to me. I don't always have those available to me. I would pass on less meaningful treats. I would just say, if you can have them, next week, in a month, I would pass. I would wait. Choose when to indulge them. Choose the things that you really love. For me, I love stuffing. Stuffing is filled with butter. It's just like straight refined carbohydrates, but I love it. And so I eat it. I enjoy it. There are very few things that I will say no to if they are homemade. All right, number 4. This one might sound a little boring, but it's not. Okay. Hydrate like a pro. All right. I want everybody to aim to drink at least half their body weight in ounces of water. The thing about water during the holidays is that it is going to help you digest your food better, reduce bloating. By staying hydrated, it's also going to help curb cravings and prevent you from overeating. A lot of people mistake their hunger for thirst, or rather, they mistake their thirst for hunger. You're thirsty, but you start eating. It helps with alcohol metabolism. This is a big one. If you're drinking some holiday cocktails, staying hydrated is essential because alcohol is dehydrating. And when we drink water alongside it, it will help your body process the alcohol better and lessen the chances of you being hungover. And when you're hungover, you make not great food choices. Whenever I have too much to drink, the next day I eat horribly. The day that I drank, ate great, but the next day, not great. My body just craves like pizza and cheese and greasy food. It just tastes better when you're a little hungover. And lastly, the other important benefit of staying hydrated is it does boost your energy and it's going to help keep your skin glowing. So when you go to these holiday parties, feel more confident. And when you're dehydrated, you feel tired. So be sure that you stay hydrated. Okay, last one is going to be the Babe mindset. How to set a Babe mindset every day. This is honestly probably one of the most important tips today that I'm going to talk about and probably the most newest information if you are a current client. And a lot of times when we go through the holidays, we kind of forget what our goals are. It's kind of like, why am I doing this again, right? It's like all of a sudden you're eating a cookie and you're like, oh, shoot, I wanted to eat less refined sugar today. And you kind of just forget. So these are how to get in the right mindset. And the right mindset is why I have clients fail or succeed every single round. If you do not have the right mindset, you are not going to succeed. Very often I have clients start my program and 2 weeks in, they're like, oh my God, I got overwhelmed and I just didn't do it and I shut down. And I get that, but they didn't read the first couple emails. And the number one thing I tell my clients is not all of these tools are going to fit your lifestyle. Take the ones that work and ignore the ones that do not serve you. We're going to prioritize the protein, the steps. We're going to prioritize trying to get in the workouts. And if you don't have the capacity for anything else, that's okay. When you're ready, let's do it. And here's how my clients who are successful get in the right mindset. They practice number 1, morning gratitude. So first thing you do when you wake up, you don't have to write it down, just mentally think this. When you wake up, think of 3 things that you are grateful for. It could be as simple as waking up in a warm bed. It could be something as simple as getting to catch up with a friend. Maybe you get to play tennis that day. A lot of moms in my town play tennis. Maybe it's just being grateful for the progress that you've been making. No matter how small it is, try to think of 3 things and just say them to yourself. Could be as simple as being grateful for, the person that's in the bed with you, your husband, your kids. More often than not, I'm sleeping next to Al, not Nick. So the second one is to set one daily intention. Now, it doesn't have to be a big intention. It could be, what is one thing I can do today that'll make me feel like I showed up for myself? Something like getting in a short workout in, having a healthy meal that makes you feel strong and energized, or even just taking 5 minutes to yourself to breathe and reset, doing a 5-minute little meditation. These acts of setting a daily intention and practicing the 3 gratitude notes is that it's going to shift us into a proactive, positive place where we're ready to build on what we already have rather than constantly chasing more. There's always another way to improve ourselves. There's constant ways that we just beat ourselves up and we're not good enough and we feel like we failed. So instead, let's shift on being grateful for what we have. And one thing that we can do today that's going to help move us a little bit further along in our progress and goal. Step 3, this one's kind of option. You can journal. I don't journal. But you know what I do? I do mantras. So if you'd like to journal, you can journal. You can reflect or say a mantra. Now, a quick mantra that I like, you can write this down or you can just say it out loud. I am in control of my choices today, and I am enough as I am. I prefer to say my mantras out loud than in my mind, but you can do either. It doesn't matter. Saying it's going to set the tone for how you're going to approach the day and reminds you that no matter what comes up, you're centered and you're confident. Another one of my favorite mantras that I use that's more business related is that you're never too old to start again. You are worthy of being reborn. That's kind of one of my favorite ones. You are worthy of being reborn. And when I say this, for me, that is more, I've had a long career. I've been making YouTube videos since I was 22 years old and I'm 40. 18 years I've been making YouTube videos. And throughout my career, I've hit these points and I'm like, is this what I want to do? Do I love this? And I want to change and I want to shift, but I don't want to abandon what I've built. And so I love to say these things because they remind me that I am capable. I am deserving of my dreams. I am worthy of being happy and I'm capable of achieving this. The whole process of this does not need to take more than 5 minutes. These are small steps, but they're powerful. Do not skip over them. I know they sound cheesy. And again, I'm going to give one example. I stood up at a Faster Way conference and announced my income goal. This was 3 years ago. And I thought for sure I would never hit that. And within 6 months, I did. And I stood up in that room and I probably was the lowest income earner out of anybody in that room. And I felt really overwhelmed and intimidated. And I made this small little goal and I couldn't believe how quickly I was able to achieve that. And I know it sounds silly, but I attributed that to the power of setting an intention and saying it out loud and putting it into the universe. So to kind of cater this back to kind of the holidays and feeling like a babe, you are worthy of loving yourself. Say that out loud. It's not about a scale. It's not about the number on a scale. It's about feeling good in your clothes, around your partner. It doesn't matter what other people think. It's just you. And when you are shopping at the mall, look around at the other women and be like, would I notice if they were 5 pounds less? No, I would not. And no one is looking at you if you were 5 pounds heavier a month ago. It has nothing to do with the scale. Okay? No one is looking at you, judging you. The only person that's judging you is probably you. And so you need to find self-confidence. You need to find peace in the skin that you're in the clothes that you're wearing. If you don't feel good in your clothes you're wearing, go out and buy new clothes. It's not about restricting yourself. It's about finding a balance between loving yourself, enjoying the foods that you love. If you like to drink alcohol, that's okay. Drink alcohol at the holiday parties, but balance it with some water. Eat some protein in the beginning and make sure that you stay consistent with your workouts. You can do all of these things. They are not mutually exclusive. You can do these things. So I'm going to challenge you guys to do these 5 tools to take action. And if you are like, Sarah, I am ready to start a new fitness routine because I'm really feeling unmotivated. And over the holidays, I want to get more into strength training and I want to know more about nutrition. I do have a special 5-day challenge coming up November 11th. Go check out my Instagram for a link or below the show notes. It is going to be a 5-day Feel Like a Babe challenge. You're going to get access to our members only app as well as our workouts. And you're going to get to see what it's like to be a client of mine for 6 weeks. And, you don't have to sign up for my 6-week program. This podcast is just to equip you guys with success over the holidays. But if you are curious and you want to try a new strength training program that's going to help you build lean muscle, join me. Links will be down below. I am super excited to bring you guys some amazing podcasts coming up featuring some of my favorite content creators and how they strategize for the holidays from their business standpoint, income, LTK, Amazon links to balancing their own wellness during these busy times. So thank you guys so much for joining with me. If you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram and check out the links below in the show notes. And I'll see you guys soon.